Welcome to Over the Back Fence. I'm Di Edwards.
And I'm Nicola Dale.
Well, we've been bosom buddies for nearly 4 decades. And look, honestly, we're not neuroscientists, psychologists, doctors or monks. We just love people and know with age comes wisdom.
So join us as we open our hearts, share our stories and hear from some of the most inspirational people in the world and have a laugh along the way.
Yeah.
Enjoy! Well, here we are.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same studio, but we were just told by one of the producers that when we laugh, they can hear us out
Just
in
sit
the
back.
work desk. So we've come in today and they've put in all this soundproofing around the walls, and I went, oh. I'm thinking.
I think, are we taking it personally?
Well, she said we can hear you laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, that's a damn good thing.
It is a damn good
If we
thing.
were going, oh, or like, ooh, oh, the laughter's good. So, but anyway, so they've had to spend a bit to have us in the studio.
It looks fantastic though, doesn't
does.
it? And hopefully it sounds
absorbs,
good.
yeah.
So how have you been? What's been happening the last couple of days, Diane? What's been
I've got a
happening?
big family wedding on Saturday, and people coming in, because the listeners have heard before, one of 8. So there's some coming from LA, some coming from England, some coming from Berry, France.
Wow.
And it's sort of nieces and nephews and cousins and aunties and all of them come in. So it's madness. You know that frenzy before a family wedding. Had the last wedding dress fitting last Friday, and had the last drink with the bride because she wasn't going to drink from there till the wedding this
What,
Saturday.
because of bloating or something?
All of the
or-
above, skin sweaty, darling. So I was so excited to see her. Like, I had to hold the tears back. It's very just-
special,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Your
It
niece.
really is. Yeah. And so it's a really happy time. Like, my son just flew in from Singapore last night, and it's all systems a go, and I've got all the accessories out for the dress, like to wear, and that's sort of like, all over the place. And yeah, it's fun. It's really uplifting. It's all about love, and it's, And what about you, little cutie?
Well, I haven't even heard about your dress yet, so I don't do it. I know you sort of went and got it, but
I got
actually,
it from Basic, actually.
oh wow,
Yeah.
gee, you
Yeah,
can
well, it
do-
wasn't a basic price at
No.
Basic,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful. You'll see it. I'll send the photo. Oh.
Well, so it's funny with the theme of weddings too, because in my partner's son's getting married just the following week.
Ah.
So next week, all the family are coming out, like from New Zealand, and so the groom and the bride to be came round, and they've both been on health kicks too. But it was funny. The bride to be, gorgeous Brie, she had her hens in Bali, and she came back without a tat,
Thank
without
God.
a broken leg.
Well,
But-
one you couldn't see.
Yeah, that's true. But one of the bridesmaids there has broken her leg.
What?
Yeah, it happened. But she was dancing
Over there in Bali.
Well, she came over there with a broken leg, so she'd been
Oh.
apparently dancing on tables in Italy. Just arrived back, still came to the hens in Bali. So all the girls there with the broken leg.
Wow, good on her.
But they're all anyhow. Apparently she's going to have a boot, and the long dress is going to hide it.
Oh, that's
So,
but that's even more interesting.
Yeah.
There'll be a story forevermore about the boot in the wedding photos.
But you know what I've done for the first time ever with buying different dresses, and I love having different ones. This time I've actually hired one.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's arriving, and I'm going to see. I've got a couple of days to.
so you've not tried it on before?
No, I know the brand. I've had it in another colour before, and it fits
Wow.
well. And I saw it, and I thought I'm going to try this instead of just keep on buying dresses.
Well, there's
and-
less on the landfill, isn't
Yeah,
it,
that's
ultimately?
true. So
I
I'm
wish
gonna-
more people would do that.
I'm gonna-
You can go online and get a dress now for $70. We won't guess where it's been manufactured, but it, ends up in the landfill.
Yeah.
So I love this system. Nicola, good on you for
well,
doing
hey,
that.
Kate Middleton, she recycles dresses, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
no, I
it's
love
just the right
that.
thing.
This is the new.
The new
I'm just go for it. It's wonderful. I wish I'd done that
yeah.
actually.
But anyhow, Diane,
Yeah.
but to look about being excited because
Yes.
today we have got somebody very special. So today we've got my gorgeous girlfriend Lee Holmes. They say follow your gut, and so today we're honoured to have you here with us. Lee is a friend. Lee is a clinical nutritionist, a yoga and meditation teacher, a whole food chef, an author of 9 cookbooks, and I've got a few and I love them. She's a successful blogger with Supercharge Food, encouraging healthy eating, a website, Supercharge Your Gut, where you can find the best gut-friendly products and recipes. Lee is a mother. You've even worked on the ABC with the Wiggles, Banana in Pyjamas, and you're a healer. You've not only healed yourself, but you heal all of us by what you do. So, Lee, welcome so much, and thank you for coming into Over the Back Fence.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's so great to be here today. I'm so excited about our chat,
Lee,
actually.
that was unbelievable hearing about what you've achieved today. Like, seriously, I'm just listening at going, oh, how many people have done that? I'm going, that's one person? I mean, just the mere fact that you back up everything you do, and I like that. You've done the academic side with the nutrition. You've written these books that are all centred around health, but you're also looking at the mind-body, because I understand you're a teacher of meditation and you do yoga. But see, a lot of people separate the mind from the body. So to me, you look holistically at health, and I really appreciate that. But what I want to know, and I think a lot of the listeners, and Nicola and I would love to know, is how did the thirst for health begin in your world?
For me, I think it started quite young, actually. But I did go into a career with the ABC, as you mentioned, with the Wiggles and what have you, because I was really into entertainment and music. Yeah. So it was in the music industry for a long time. And it was kind of accidental how I got into health, because I got sick. Didn't really know what was wrong with me. I was super tired. I felt like I had chronic fatigue. I had hives all over my body. My hair was falling out on the pillow. So I went through quite a complex medical system in Sydney trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And it took a while, but eventually they told me I had a non-specific autoimmune, which 7 years later they told me was Crohn's disease. So I finally kind of got a diagnosis of that. But in going through that and being put on steroids and blowing up like the Michelin Man and all these different types of medications, I sort of felt intrinsically that it was something to do with my diet and what I was eating, because I noticed when I ate certain things, I would get hives. I would get tired after eating, and I thought maybe it's a food nutrition sort of thing. It may not just be genetic or whatever. So I kind of started blogging about it. I changed my diet. I started cooking really simple recipes at home. Started this little website, Supercharged Food, and from there it kind of just grew. And I've written all these books, and I'm so dedicated to it, and I love it because so many people are or were in the same spot as me. And I feel like I've built this amazing community of very like-minded people who we can identify with each other. And so together we've kind of grown it, if you know what I mean.
So you're like really one of the original bloggers.
Yeah. I love blogging. I'd seen that movie Julie and Julia. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it inspired me, and I went home and I was like, I'm going to write a blog. That's going to be me. I want to talk about food. I want to talk about nutrition, and that's kind of how I started.
It's incredible. Wow. It truly is.
So the whole world is tired.
Inspirational.
So how do we overcome this issue through diet? Tiredness, fatigue.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are taxing their adrenals with stimulants, coffee, that kind of thing. And I think collectively with what we're going through and have been through over the last few years, the whole world is very, very fatigued, tired, sort of on the verge of a nervous breakdown, really.
We didn't sleep well last night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel that collectively our energies are very tired as well. So I think it's just
the adrenals.
The adrenals. I think it's a simple approach of going back to self and self-care and looking after yourself individually, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel some of the ways holistically that I've been able to do that and talk to my clients are putting in a tiny little routine. Even if you get up in the morning and don't check your phone straight away and maybe meditate, just do some breathing for 5 minutes or make a healthy smoothie. Just make those little changes. I find that that's easier for people, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And structure that? Make
it
structured?
So with me, I do Vedic meditation.
Right.
And it's 22 minutes a day. So I set my alarm earlier and I do it for 22 minutes. So I do 20 minutes of meditation where I say a mantra over and over. Then I do 1 minute of, I call it coagulation, where you just sit there and breathe. And then I do 1 minute of manifestation. I know it sounds a bit kooky and out there, but
we're your girls.
She's talking our
that,
language.
that's what I find has been so helpful, so helpful,
And has
because
that changed?
it actually, meditation is like having a 4-hour sleep when you meditate for just 20 minutes. It actually
I've never heard that.
recharges your body. It's really, really good
20
for your body.
minutes.
Yeah, it's like 3 to 4 hours of sleep. It's equivalent.
Thank you for that. Is the biggest tip ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard
Let's go
that either.
meditate now.
We'll feel so much better.
There was something in the solar system last night. We didn't sleep.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got a Barocca here.
I brought my coconut water in. And
Got
I had
other things
Barocca
going on.
before.
So meditation. What else could you do in the morning to as coming back to Nicola's question about
Coming back to self.
Yeah.
Even if you have, I find actually, I think we're going to talk about my car accident, but I did have a big car accident recently.
Yes.
And the person that I was speaking to about trauma and working with, she said to me, why don't you do some journaling? And I've always written about journaling, but to be honest, never really done it. And I started doing it since the accident, and it's actually so helpful, and it's amazing what comes out when you journal. So for 5-10 minutes, you wake up and you literally just write on a piece of paper, and you don't know what you're going to write. But it's actually, I found it very helpful, just a little bit of journal.
So journaling and then
meditation.
And then I love the manifestation. Have you
yes.
done that all your life?
No, I've just
You've only-
started 2 years ago.
Wow.
I
'Cause
manifested
it's very
my house in
trendy.
Palm
Now,
Beach.
can we hear
Manifestation.
this? This is a great one.
Yeah, I
'Cause you've had a sea
manifested.
change, haven't
Yeah,
you?
I did manifest my house in Palm Beach.
Tell
So
us
Are you
about that.
kidding me?
no, so when I was living in the East before, I pictured myself by the water in a little cottage, and it was Palm Beach. I didn't know that then, but I kept on visualizing it every single day, and it really happened. It eventuated, which before I was always very clear cut and didn't really think about energies and manifesting, but going through trauma, you kind of look deep into yourself and try different things, don't you? You just kind of
I
want
think we
to.
need to talk about the theme where, we're dancing around it right now. I think
Yeah.
it's, to all the listeners, I really wanted to get a bit more depth with books and everything else.
But
that
Yeah.
this
but
is huge.
it's pivotal. And Nicola's, I remember her ringing me, go, oh my God, I said, what's happened? And Lee had been in this car accident, and I didn't know Lee. And I went, what the hell? And then this photo, and I thought, and then Nicola said, let's just get her to talk about it today. And as I said, we are dancing around it. So can you tell us, if you don't mind, how it happened, and as a consequence, we're hearing bits of it, but moving forward, where you're at since it happened.
It happened. So it happened a month ago.
Yeah.
I was up in the northern sort of rivers area for work. I was visiting stores and things like that with my products. And I was on the Gold Coast Highway. So I was driving about 110, which is the speed limit. I had been to the dentist, and I had a micro sleep at the wheel and smashed straight into a concrete bollard, then headlong into 2 trees, high impact, car flipped over. I was wedged upside down in the car. It was squished, like concertinaed.
By yourself?
And by myself. And I had been a flight attendant before.
Yes, and something else I didn't realise. I knew that you sort of wear lots of hats.
Yeah.
But that one. So
So that kind of kicked in at the time, because I remember opening my eyes thinking there was steam coming off the bonnet, and I was thinking, that could be smoke. I need to get out of this vehicle. So I unclipped my seatbelt and looked around, checked my body, found a tiny window open, like just a small amount, because there was no air conditioning. It was an old car. It was an old car I'd given to a friend's son when he passed his exam, so I was using that car up there. And I crawled through the window, through the bush, which I found quite traumatic, that side of it. And then the paramedics came, because there was someone behind me
Thank
that
goodness
had
it's
seen,
all right.
that had seen it. So it was quite traumatic. But I did have the most amazing spiritual experience on impact. And I saw a white light, a tunnel, and it was beckoning me. And it felt so pure, like love. And it was the afterlife, I believe. And I do know I'm going to heaven, that's for sure. But it
Renee,
So were you
felt-
knocked out?
I came to
Momentarily?
after that.
Okay.
I came to after that, but I remember the feeling of pure love, and it was not scary whatsoever. It was not scary. It was lovely. So now I'm not really afraid of.
So it sounds like that was a turning point.
It
for
was a
you.
big turning point. Yeah,
For you as a whole.
I think so, because when I came out of hospital, I walked outside, and I've always been into nature and, animals and things, but I felt different. Like I felt the breeze on my arms. I felt the sun shining. It made me look at life so differently.
The earth needs you.
Bright.
Yeah.
It was bright.
And, I was thinking, angels were all around you.
Yeah, I felt protected in that moment. But
you are a living angel.
Yes.
And I think with your work, and I was saying you healed yourself. You're a guardian angel. And there's so much more to share. It wasn't your time. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I do believe that. And I do believe in energies now. Like I really do. Like I believe there are energies circulating around us that we may not know about, but I do believe in that. When you meet someone and you think, wow, I've got deja vu, or oh wow, we have so much in common, or is that my soulmate? There are all these different connections with people, and I really want to look more into that because it is holistic.
Too. Like with it's funny how we met through my daughter, and that was on a One World retreat, a wellness retreat in Bali. And Gabrielle was saying, wow, I've connected with Lee, and there was a bit of age difference there because she's obviously younger. Yeah. But it was the energies. Yeah. And then she was saying, I know you two are going to get along.
She said that to me too.
Yeah.
And it was.
And look it's just a friendship now.
It is, and it was so lovely meeting her in Bali and doing the yoga thing together with her, and then seeing her career blossom, and then meeting you, and there was an instant connection. Isn't it funny how that happened?
Life is, it's funny that way, and you with the sea change.
Yeah. Bringing you back to, like, with Nicola's intro, like, 9 books is a lot of information. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, there's something seems to stand out is your take on gut health and how important that is. I mean, over the years I've said, I can feel it in my, not so much gut, I can feel it in my stomach, I can feel it there, like something I'm thinking, or it could be an energy thing, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But there's more to the gut than meets the eye.
There is. There's definitely a mind-gut
your
connection.
Take on that?
Yeah, I feel that there is a mind-gut connection. There also is in terms of biologically. For example, obviously we've got like all of the good and bad bacteria in our gut, and they communicate with our immune cells. And that's what keeps us healthy. So there's all these biodynamic connections between the gut and the state of health of the gut, what you eat, but also your mind as well. So you have a vagus nerve, which runs from your brain to your gut, and it's like an information superhighway. So for every one message your brain sends to your gut sends you 10 back up. So if you imagine what's in charge of your state of feeling, how you're feeling about things, it's actually your gut that is giving you those messages, not your brain, not always your brain. Isn't that crazy?
It's incredible. And I'm so pleased it's been recognised scientifically.
Yes, because let's nurture the gut now.
Yeah.
Where before it was, I used to go, if you feel butterflies and nerves and anxious and whatever, women, I think, tend to feel it more down in the gut. And it's like, I just override that, and always disconnecting body-mind.
Yeah.
But, so, coming back to is it the micro, you said?
The microbiome.
Okay, how important that is now to longevity and vitality and
also
health.
Your psychological health. It really is. So now in America, it's really amazing. All these professors and scientists who I interview a lot, they're talking about psychobiotics. So they're giving people probiotics for mental health instead of giving them, the mental health kind of medications, which I think is unbelievable that you can.
It makes me really happy.
Yeah,
really.
It makes sense, doesn't it? So the gut is central to health and so many other systems in the body, even sleep. Because the serotonin's actually manufactured, which produces then melatonin. So there's a connection between sleep and the gut, mind and the gut. So many different things in the gut.
So how do
and that's why I love it. I love talking about the gut. And
and
this was before
fascinated.
I even knew I had Crohn's, but I just knew deep down that my issues stemmed from the gut.
Down,
I knew that they
stemmed
from the gut. There's lots of things that change your gut microbiome. So you can definitely turn it around. It doesn't have to be difficult.
That's so
the
good
issue,
to hear turning it around.
Yes.
And you were mentioning, Di, too, like with ageing. What are tips on that for sort of women from our age plus too.
Yeah.
I guess, does the gut change with age?
It
as
does.
well?
It changes all the way throughout your life.
Yeah.
When you're a baby, you're born with certain microbes, and then you get to a teenager, and then you're eating kind of junk food. It changes the microbiome, and then as you get older, you have less good bacteria, so you've got to repopulate it. But with longevity, for me, I found I'm 55, turning 56 this year.
So don't look at
Finding something you love.
Take every one of her supplements.
Yeah, that's right.
Done.
Like, for example, finding an exercise you like. For me, it's Reformer Pilates. I love that. So you know how it's good to exercise. I think it's finding something that you really, really love to do. That's important. The other thing with longevity, I believe, is inflammation. We have a lot of inflammation, many of us. So having your good fats, fish oils, omega-3 fatty acids, avocado, salmon, those things are really, really important as you age, as is protein. I don't think many of us eat enough protein as we get older.
When you
and
say
we
protein,
do. Like good sources
my brain
of
goes to
protein.
meat.
Yeah.
You
So cottage cheese, all different kinds of protein like that. Doesn't have to
Give
necessarily
me some other
just
examples
be
of protein,
meat.
because I get confused. Like, okay, I'm eating too much meat. Back off the meat. How am I going to supplement that?
But even you can have tuna, you can have lentils that have protein in them,
Right, so the
plant-based proteins, the
pulses
pulses,
and-
those kinds of things
Yeah.
as well. Even like dairy products, protein. So I think a bit of protein is really important.
Right.
And the other thing I think about longevity as you age is sleep. And do you find it harder to sleep as you get older?
We're
I don't know
just
about you
saying
guys,
it. We're just
Yeah.
saying it. It's all a bit like,
I was awake at 2 till 5.
Yeah.
But I think I'd gone to bed at 10, say, something like that.
And I was the same.
And,
but
Nicola,
this-
and then we spoke to another
and we have
girlfriend
our
this
little
morning,
tips
exactly the same.
sometimes. We're listening to, say, like meditation thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll just, seeing this podcast new, we just got some prep thing, I'll just listen to a little bit of myself there, because it's definitely going to put me to sleep. And I stayed awake the whole time. It was the worst
hysterical.
hour.
Oh, no.
But is that the hormones? Like, what's happening
So
there? Besides
estrogen
things in your
is-
mind or whatever?
Estrogen is,
Lack
lessening.
of?
Lessening. So
More
that does
testosterone,
change.
I hear.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Less.
We have less
estrogen.
estrogen.
Wow.
And, some people do. I've gone through menopause, but things like flax seeds are really, really good. They can help you as you go through menopause.
it
There are
down.
certain foods.
Flax seeds.
I do have a book. I do have a little ebook about menopause actually on the website, which has really got some tips. Magnesium is great for sleep.
Yeah, I
as well.
take that every night.
Yeah.
That's my
Sometimes
Very
it works,
relaxing.
sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
What I would
daily.
generally do is not eat before bed, having that break before you go to sleep so you're not digesting at night and staying awake, I think is good. And then kind of spreading out till when you have breakfast the next day. So having less food is probably
Do
better.
we overeat?
I think we do.
Yeah,
I think we do overeat.
There's something.
So
And I
eating
tell you
early
what,
on.
alcohol. If I have too much
Yeah,
bubbles
definitely.
or
Yeah.
champagne or
Absolutely.
rosé, a big night,
That was a
and then
lot.
I go to sleep.
Did
Well,
you just say?
I'll go to sleep
Did you
immediately.
get a
I'll
grip
go to
on that
sleep
one?
immediately, and then 2 hours later,
Yeah, awake.
bang,
Yeah.
and it's
You're
shot
awake.
away.
Stimulate, isn't it?
So I
It
try
is,
not
yeah.
to. Or if I'm going out, then I'll just go to the water. The last
Water, yeah.
Need to
I'm the same, you
hydrate.
do too.
And hydrating. That's so right,
It's
Nicola.
my 2023
Here's
plan.
some water now.
I'm trying to
It's
do
not
it. Like
touched.
Oh, well,
Yes,
and Lee,
Lee.
and just personally too, you've had the seed change, you've gone through a divorce, you've gone through. How do you handle times when that's personally tough? And where do you get resilience? Is it?
I feel
what
like I
works for
have
you?
such a great sisterhood, with a bunch of amazing, beautiful, like-minded friends, which I'm so grateful for. I have a daughter as well,
Yes.
and we're like best friends.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So that's really lovely. And I find the yoga and meditation helps a lot. And time in the garden, time doing things.
Wow.
friend of
Yeah,
ours
we
lives
just
in
interviewed
garden.
someone recently. Similar
Yeah.
thing.
Getting my hands dirty.
Hands
Wow.
in Mother
I'm
Earth.
renovating at the moment as well,
Are
which
you?
is quite
Oh,
creative
bring it
and
on.
fun.
Exciting.
And so, yes, I did go through a divorce. Unfortunately, my husband's son passed away. He had a lot of trauma, and it's really hard to get through sort of that when you're married,
I'm really sorry to hear that. And I saw a dedication in one of your books too. To him.
Yeah.
And,
So that was a really tough time, and I had to sort of sell up and move to another area and start afresh. But I really wanted to simplify my life and bring everything just back to the most simple terms and just minimize everything. I'm very minimal anyway. So, but it's been really nice because I've been connecting with where I live, my surroundings, the nature, the kookaburras up there. We've
Sounds
got
beautiful.
so many
Beautiful.
beautiful animals.
Is this? Did
and
you
things.
move before the accident? Or?
Yeah, before. So
Okay.
the accident, I moved a couple
So the
of years
universe
ago.
needed you to learn one more thing
One more thing.
before you settled in.
And I think it's my new book. So I'm writing
yeah.
a book on long COVID at the moment because I personally have long COVID. And I found this really, I'm going to talk about it at another date, but this really good sort of research and information about why some people get long COVID and why others don't. I found a connection within the body, a biological thing, and I'm going to write about it. So yeah, I'm really excited
we'll do a
about that.
podcast around that
that's
because
that's
it's
a
very
separate
topical
one.
at the
We
moment.
would
Yeah.
really-
But I just want to quickly take you back to just two issues. One, the marketeers of food in our world, how they market food to us and say the word healthy, how in our world we can eat healthy and not have to panic about 50,000 ingredients. Like, how can we simplify that, A, and B, be aware when we're shopping about the marketeers trying to pull us in to
You're
purchase.
so right about that. Because you know when you look on the front of a pack of something and there's all these words like lowers cholesterol and all that kind of stuff. But then you turn it over and it's full of like artificial sugars and things like that that aren't that great for you.
Yeah.
So having a look at a label, I think less is more. Minimal ingredients is
right.
better.
Okay, that's
Obviously, the
interesting.
best
Yes.
thing to do, I believe, is try and have fresh ingredients if you can.
Yes.
But not everyone
No.
can do that.
Everyone's in a hurry these
Yeah,
days,
everyone's in a
aren't
hurry.
they?
What I personally do is I'm so into gardening. So I grow my own in veggie pots. I have veggie
So
pots.
do you,
and
don't
I
you?
You
Yeah.
have veggie pots too?
Such
Um,
joy. If
yeah.
one little thing grows a year,
You
I go,
love your,
yeah,
you
I
love
love
your
it.
eggplants.
I
don't
just
you,
drink heaps of
Dodie?
champagne and an
Really?
eggplant grows.
I
this
just
one just
harvested
check it
all of my
out.
eggplants.
Yes, so
Amazing.
either grow your own, as you're saying, in
Yeah.
a veggie pot, not difficult.
Yeah, not difficult. So growing your
So
own
fresh.
is really good. I
And do you
think is
go
good.
organic?
Okay.
Is that a difference? Because
that's
I know
a great
some
question.
people
It's expensive
sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Can't afford it.
Yes.
I
Is
agree.
there
Yeah.
a difference with?
Yeah.
Is
There
it best
is.
to go organic?
Yeah.
I think for some people who can afford it
Sure.
and it's available to them, it's
Yeah.
always better.
Yes,
But
yes.
having said that, I don't go organic all the time. Go
Basic
basic,
and-
go simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
keep
what I do.
it fresh.
Keep it fresh. Colour. I'm all about colour. So
rainbow.
Just think about
It's
colour.
pride time
That-
Yeah.
too.
Do you know that's
Yeah,
really
pride.
important? I've
pride,
forgotten
yeah.
that. I love that colour.
Yeah.
So when you're cooking, have different colours
And purples
so you know
and
you're
oranges and
Beetroot.
reds
Right,
and
yeah,
beetroot
beetroot.
and
I love
blueberries and colour. As we get older too, we want that colour, that diversity.
Yeah.
So just think
it's
about
grown
colour.
in nature for a reason, isn't it? If it's
Exactly.
bright.
We
Funny,
love
I
it.
need sweet after I eat at
Me
night.
too.
What's that?
I
Am I
think-
lacking something in my diet to crave that?
Sometimes it's lacking, if you crave chocolate, it's lacking magnesium in the body. So I don't know whether it might be that. But the other thing is there is an emotional side to eating. And sometimes when people crave sweet, it's that they need a hug or need love.
that's
Or, yeah. So there is an emotional component to
I'll
eating.
tell you what, with
Oh.
hugs, to be careful hugging you, Lee,
Yeah.
because I don't know
Yeah.
if you've still got bruises and injuries from that accident only a month ago.
Yeah, so I still
too.
have concussion and I have obviously the bruising, but it's miraculous that I walked out of that or crawled out of that car without any broken bones.
That is a miracle.
And there is something else
You
that's
know what?
going
I
to
think
sound
you're right.
kooky. This is
Yeah,
going to
tell
sound
us,
kooky.
please.
Sorry.
I had blood on me when I woke up from the accident. And when I got to hospital and then the next day I looked and I had no cuts or no visible, and there was no blood. And
bizarre.
I was completely almost healed. It was very bizarre.
This is a
Freaky.
movie, but they wouldn't think it's true.
I know, it does
it's
sound very
remarkable.
bizarre.
That
It's
is
like, as I said, it's like you were meant to have that because it's triggered so much for you.
It has.
And this is a thing when some people go to the depths of life. It's like I call it's like quicksand, trying to get out of quicksand. And then I always say there's only one way out. The greatest riches of life, the greatest learning is coming out of that, I believe. But just hearing you today as a consequence of that accident, I mean, only you could see such beauty in it all.
Beauty and life.
gratitude. And I tell you what, your
Yeah.
daughter, let alone everyone
Oh,
else too, must have
God.
been. And I'm sure she's probably traumatised by seeing those
I think
photos.
she was
I would be.
because she got a text message from the tweet police saying, your mother Lee's been involved in a motor vehicle accident, please call the station. But there was no, your mother's okay,
Yes.
or anything
no,
like that. And
that's
so she was
just-
obviously very frightened
Of
to call the
course.
station. But she did come to the hospital, and it was so nice to see her and have that support, and her see me,
Without a
relatively okay without a cut.
Yes.
Just with the concussion.
A cut.
I'm putting wings on Lee.
I
As I said,
agree.
the
I agree.
guardian
I just said,
angel.
yeah, she is
Like,
a
it's
healer. She's a
incredible.
special person.
Truly, yeah.
on planet
and to come
Earth.
out of that with such unbelievable, new, fresh look of life.
I did, yeah, and I
Like,
really want to
that's
write this next
inspiring.
book.
Yeah.
I really feel that I was brought back for a reason, and I feel that so many people have long COVID. In fact, 49 million people in America have it. I think it's 2.5 in England have it. 1 in 10 people in Australia have
1
long
in
COVID.
10.
And people are not really talking about it, but they're suffering. A lot of people are suffering with this. So I want to be there
Yeah,
with
good.
answers for
Well,
people.
what a reason to
and-
come
at the
back if
whole
you can help
picture.
so many people and having this extra thing now that. Well, I think then, Lee, we've got a couple of signature questions.
Yeah. So, Nicola, first question
Okay,
on
so
you.
Lee, just going back, what advice would you give, looking back now, Lee, at the age of 20, what would you tell yourself if you could turn back the clock or give us some advice?
I think I would say try to live in the moment more and enjoy where you're at right then. You can always worry about the future later. It's there, it's going to happen. I think just enjoy the moment. That's where I'm at. Yeah,
That's
let go
perfect,
and
isn't
enjoy
it?
the moment.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Next question. If you had a choice of anybody in the world that you could meet at the back fence, who would that be and why?
Okay, this is going to sound weird. I'm going to sound like Beatrix Potter, but to be honest, where I live in Palmy, my back fence is all reserve. So there's all of these amazing animals, kookaburras, I get the water dragons, I get it all in there. And I would love to share, and I do share a back fence with animals, and because I feel like the animal kingdom is underrated and our connection with the animal kingdom is underrated.
Oh,
and I
really?
just love animals.
See, we talk
so
about
much.
nature, but we
Yeah.
don't so much talk about animals.
Yeah,
That's
it's
another
definitely
podcast too, but bring it back about
underrated.
animals.
So, okay,
That feeling
so
they
they're going to
give
come
us.
to the back fence and
Yeah.
you're going to feed them, or
Yeah,
you're going to have
I mean,
a chat
they're
with them? What do you-
therapy. I'm going to have a chat
I
with
love
them.
it's therapy. I love that.
They are, and animals are just,
Wild animals.
wild,
Wow.
wild, or
So Lee-
domesticated. I've got a cat. I've got a dog. Like, they bring so much to our lives. I believe that beautiful emotional
I believe
connection.
that
They heal
too.
us. They're therapy. They're amazing, and they give us so much. Don't you think? They don't
Oh.
ask for much in return.
And such appreciation for what
yeah.
you're saying is at your back fence.
yeah,
Well, Lee,
it is-
you've got
that
it
is
now.
exactly
You don't
Beautiful.
even have to wish for that, too.
Yeah, no, I love
but
it.
that's what you've manifested.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wow.
What's ahead for Lee? I mean, you mentioned writing a book
Yes.
relative to COVID.
To long COVID, yeah.
And long COVID. What would you like to see projected for your future? I mean, you've done so much today. You just blow my mind. Moving forward from there, what would you like to see in your life?
Yeah, I think I love meditating, so more of that kind of inner peace and connection with others. And so writing the books and doing things like that is so great because it allows you to connect with other people in the same point where you're at that time. So I love that connection. I am going to England in May. I'm launching my brand over there. So that's going to be
girl.
super
So it's
exciting.
global.
So we're expanding.
Yeah, we're expanding.
Wow.
We're expanding. I've written all the recipes with my mentor, Dr. Vincent Pedre in America. We're launching a book in April as well in Harlem. So hopefully I'll get over there to do that. And, yeah, just doing more work in the community. I really, really want to do more work locally in the community. And I'm going to put my head down and write this book, and then I'll come out like a butterfly, hopefully in 6 months' time, and just really
I
be
love
able
that.
to
The cocoon
like
one
yeah,
she
cocoon.
writes.
Yes.
And you come
And
out
then
the
you
other one,
come
it's
out the
finished.
butterfly.
yeah, when it's finished.
Well, you
Oh,
are a
you're a
beautiful,
dream
beautiful
woman.
floating
Lee, you're beautiful.
butterfly. And just squeezing
Yeah,
it
we
in.
need more of her in the world.
We do.
Lee, today's been just, well, in the presence of an angel, but an intelligent, wise woman who has spread your wings in every sense of the word. As I said initially, holistically.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing these gifts.
Thank you so
with
much
everybody.
for sharing.
Yeah.
Like so
It's been
much.
fabulous.
It's really. It was like we were meant to have you on this
Yes.
podcast to share,
Yeah.
you know, all your knowledge and just your beautiful energy. And I think it'll come through.
So
whether
glad
it's
she's
really
back and healthy.
Yay! Gratitude,
Yeah,
Lee.
thank you for having
me.
We love you,
Thank
Lee.
you.
Thank you so
I
much.
love you guys
Take care.
Bye.